But there's been a bit of controversy surrounding Man United since that game. But it's actually to do with two players that no longer play for Manchester United. And I wanted to get your take on this. Rashford obviously posted a picture of himself before or after. It doesn't matter when he posted it. The Villa game in his kit. And presumably it became after. And Jadon Sancho commented saying, freedom, with a few emojis like hands praising it. There are some United fans that were not bothered. There are others that have reacted in a very negative way, very angry way. There are rivals that are saying this shows, he's immature, he's a disgrace, this is why he never made it at Man United. What do you all make of this? Is it disrespectful to do what Sancho did? Or is he just backing a friend? I'm going to go to Will first. How do you see that yourself, mate?
Yeah, I think a lot of United fans are a little sensitive when it comes to Jadon Sancho. It's like we don't understand that these footballers are human. So, and they're also friends, right? Sancho, Marcus Rashford. We all know how it ended with Sancho, right? The whole Ten Hag situation where he was banished from the team, went on loan to Dortmund. Now he's at Chelsea. And then we saw how things kind of played out with Marcus Rashford there. If you don't think that all these players talk to each other, right? Because I don't think Sancho would have commented that on Rashford's page if they kind of didn't speak behind the scenes about things already. It's not that big of a deal, right? I don't view it as disrespectful. And Marcus Rashford, for the time being, is free, right? He's escaped the Arkham Asylum that we know as Manchester United. You guys are not good, right? You have no managerial bounce. You've still been trash. And if he feels like he's now free, same thing with Sancho at Chelsea, then they're allowed to say it. What's disrespectful is how when Sancho was going through the situation with Ten Hag, how United fans were talking about him. That's disrespectful, right? When Jadon Sancho got the move to Chelsea and then how you guys continue to slander him, that's disrespectful. So if I was Sancho, I'd have said a lot more than just freedom. I might have did a Ronaldo and had a interview with somebody slandering the club. I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? When you leave on bad terms, you can't expect players to necessarily show you any kind of loyalty, right? Like, I think that we have to use real life common sense when it comes to these footballers, which a lot of people don't. So for me, not a big deal, bro. Freedom. Marcus Rashford's free. He goes from being in the bottom half of the table, playing in Europa League, to now he's advanced to the next round of the FA Cup, just like United did, but he's in the Champions League knockout stages, and he's going to be fighting for a European place in the Premier League. So technically, he is free. The truth just hurts. That's just what it is.
Do you not think there's I know obviously what he's meant to say in freedom, but I see on replies to that, someone was saying, is he just talking about freedom to play? Is it like instead of freedom from the shackles of Man United? Because when I saw Rashford, he was playing with a smile on his face. He was enjoying himself. Like, are we just taking this completely out of context? Is he not even meant it as a dig? Are people just being too sensitive? Like, I don't know. Obviously, that's not the way I think it. I think it's just basically put two fingers up to Man United and just says, look, now you're out of that absolute cesspit of a changing room. And now he's back to playing. He actually looks really good against us. I'm not going to lie. Nutmegs, running with pace.
To be fair, Henry, I would have looked good against us at the weekend. Let's be
trying to give Rashford some props, Kate. But I'll take him right now, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think he'll do really well at Villa. I could see that definitely being a permanent signing. But yeah, I think people are just overreacting a little bit. It's just one comment. He's not like he said anything, with the Man United name in it. He's just put a comment.
Yeah. Look, I look at it this way. None of us know his true intentions. But I think when Pogba posted the picture when Jose was sacked, I think it was like, what now, or what you saying now? Something along those lines. Somebody in the comments will remember properly. You're still at the club. He's an ex-manager. Don't bring extra pressure upon us. Don't do it. I feel like if Sancho was still here, don't do it as an example. But he's no longer a Man United player. I think, is he official? He's on loan with an obligation, but he's not. He's with obligation to buy. He's not going to be a Man United player ever again. I don't follow him on. I might follow Sancho. I might follow Rashford. I only follow a handful of footballers. but I don't. If I see a footballer post, I might like it. Who reads the comments? This is the thing for me. The people that are angry at him, typically, when you read what they've said, you can tell they don't like Sancho. You can tell a lot of them don't like Rashford. So why are you even on his post? Why are you even... for me, I look at it like I'm so indifferent about this. It's a case of, yeah, you know, he said something that you could argue. Yeah, there is a freedom element. You know, I actually do think that, you know, the players, rightly or wrongly, will feel, well, I should have got more game time. I should have got the opportunities that Garnacho got. I should have got the opportunities that this player had. They'll think that way, and they're speaking out a bit. We keep asking for players to have personality. Then we see some personality and we want to shut it down. When you ask for personality, you are going to get a situation where you hear things you don't want. We see this on X all the time. Oh, we need someone like Elon Musk to buy it because too many things are censored. Oh, Elon, can you censor that? That hurt my feelings. Well, what do you want? Do you want it to be open or do you want it to be censored? When you advocate for things to be censored, at some point, the Overton window is going to change and it's going to censor you. You know, we want footballers to speak their minds. I'm all for it. I look at it from this lens. If and when we then get one over on him, there's more fun and banter. So you like learn to accept these things. Don't whinge and cry and moan about them online. I don't really think it, you know, just what I'm trying to do more of. Like, have I got the time and the energy in my day to speak about it? Of course, on the podcast, because people care. But me as an individual in my day-to-day life, I scrolled past it and went, oh. But then I kept on scrolling today. I got to check up on the news, checking up on the news, and I just keep seeing people crying and crying and crying and boo-hooing and mummy and, oh, I need bitty. That's all I kept on seeing. And these are grown people. I couldn't quite believe it. It's a strange one for me. It really, really is.
If I was Man United fan, Terry, sorry, I would just be thinking, well, good riddance. I think he's played 19 games for Chelsea, got 2 goals and 6 assists. He's not pulling up trees. So I just think, look.
But that's the banter. Sorry, I'll let you go again in a second. Sorry, that's the banter. He's got 1 assist in his last 13 games.
Exactly.
If you're gonna like clap back in any way, say I don't know. I'm not very good at this sort of thing, but what's your freedom giving you? 1 goal in.
But they do that anyways, though, Terry. Like, there's United fans since he's moved to Chelsea. You see online, right, on Twitter more so, where people are, like they're pulling up his stats, or like if he has like his SoFA score rating is really low. So they've been doing that this entire season. And then he says freedom, and then those same people are crying because it might have been a dig at your club. It's like, bro, you guys have been harassing him for
You can't if you can't take it. Don't give it. Sorry, but Kate, back to you. Sorry, my apologies.
No, that's all I was going to say. Basically, what you just said. I mean, why cry about what he says? He's not pulling up trees at Chelsea. I'd just be thinking, yeah, whatever. You know, you're shit. Just crack on. You know, I don't understand why United fans are taking it so personally. Myself, but each to their own.
Sancho is shit, Kate.
I don't think he's very good. Not in the Premier League. I think abroad is different. But I don't think he's very good in the Premier League. I think his attitude doesn't look great to me either. He always looks like he's a bit of a sulker, and I wouldn't want him at Spurs even if we could afford him. Although he's probably better than everything we've got, I still wouldn't want him at Spurs.
I think he's a player. Like, he's got a lot of ability, and I think when it's going right for the team, he shines. He's got a lot of can go on the outside, can go on the inside. He's very, very skillful, but he's always one where when it's not going right, he's like walking around, sulking. But yeah, he's definitely got a lot of ability. His record for Dortmund was, I think he's only one of 3 players to get double digits for goals and assists. I think he got 2020, didn't he? There's only 3 players in the top 5 leagues that have done that. And I think the other 2 are Henry and Messi. So but
that's what I mean. I think
his output was incredible.
I think abroad he can do it. I just don't think he can do it in the Premier League. But that's my personal opinion.
It was interesting this weekend watching Sancho and the feedback. Don said this, and then I saw a funny video of Matisse critiquing it. It was almost his inability, not inability, a strong word, his lack of desire to try and take on his fullback. And it was interesting hearing Chelsea fans say that, because that was probably, barring a few tackles he pulled out of where I thought he was really soft for United, that was my bugbear. It was a case of, hang on, you've got the fullback isolated and you keep recycling. And then you get into these debates. And I wish Staffy was here because I'd love to just not try and pull him up or question him because Staffy's a good friend of mine, but get his take on this because you kind of get into these situations where it's like, I would say I just want my fullback, my winger to keep attacking his fullback. Keep attacking. 7 times out of 10, maybe recycle it 3. Where there are some football fans who like their fullbacks and like their wingers, to recycle it 7 times out of 10 and maybe attack 3 times out of 10 because, well, that maintains more possession, more control. And I suppose in the modern day game, that's considered better decision making because you might attack your fullback 10 times and lose it in 9 of them. And people are like, well, it's bad decision making. I don't know if it is. I feel like every time you recycle that ball, sometimes it's a necessity, sometimes it keeps your opponent guessing. But I also feel like it's a bit of a cop-out. So you see this in fighting. Sometimes fighters will feint. They feint, and then they throw that punch and they land it, and they keep throwing it, and then they start feinting again. So they can get to a point where a certain technique or a certain movement has their opponent thinking, well, I don't know whether he's throwing it or feinting. Some fighters just keep feinting. And what it really boils down to is, well, I'm just not going to open up because I don't want to leave my own jaw exposed. And Sancho has that in him. He can get into ruts where he doesn't want to be the one taking the risk. He'll just hand that ball over to somebody else. And again, when I was a United fan watching him, sometimes I felt like maybe when I reflected, I agree with you, Will. The abuse he got after the fallout with Ten Hag, the way the club leaked information on him, I thought it was a disgrace, and I defended him wholeheartedly on that. But from my as if by magic, could it be magic now? Hey, Staffy's here. He is in the group chat. But yeah, I looked at it and I just thought maybe I reflected and thought maybe it was just because we always view when my kids make noise in a restaurant, I think they're being so loud. When other people's children make noise and they go, I'm sorry they're being noisy, I think I didn't even hear them. So is it because he was my player I noticed it? So I just thought it was very interesting this weekend watching Chelsea fans pull on the exact issue that I had with Sancho. And the reason my issue was so big with him on that is because I know he has more ability than anyone else in my squad to beat those fullbacks. So him not doing it used to just frustrate me to crazy levels.
First of all, big up everyone. I saw the panel was short today and couldn't leave you guys, just 4 of you.
I'm probably
Will.
the tallest, Staffy. If you're talking about short people, I'm probably the tallest here. I'm just saying.
In fairness, Will's about 6'1" and Staffy's like 6'4" or something. Legit, they're big men.
Will is tall. I met Will. Will is tall. But
Henry,
I don't know what I meant by short. Anyway.
Henry's like 5'9" and he's really skinny fat. Really skinny. He's like really skinny but fat.
I feel like you say this every show. I mean, Henry, I'm not gonna lie. At this point, bro, you gotta throw hands. I'm gonna be real with you. You gotta throw hands, bro.
Henry has a body like when a candle was melted, it's all run down the wick. It's like a melted candle.
That's what mine's like, to be fair. So I'm not saying anything.
I mean, it's winter, and I'm stocking up on extra mass because it's cold. And then when it hits March, I'll start running again.
But
not beating up chairs.
No, I didn't. I didn't yesterday. No, I didn't yesterday.
I said this, by the way, last week. I said until you break that chair, you shouldn't be doing content no more. You should be
off over my head, and it was just the chair wasn't even damaged, and I was like, right, okay, I'm not doing that again. I was expecting
a backup chair, Henry.
A wheel to fall off or something. Sorry.
No, I was asking if you have a backup chair for like when that one eventually breaks from the abuse. All right, fair enough.
Now, but back to Sancho. Listen, the point you were making, Terry. Listen, I agree with you. I just want to say something. I heard what Will said, and he does have a point, to be honest, because United fans, the same ones that are complaining, saying he's unprofessional, I mean, to be fair, every time he has a subpar game, right away you see the sofa score, you see the troops meme. I mean, every person who posted that troops meme is still crying and saying, "Oh, but he's the most toxic player we had." But yeah, I mean, to be fair, you caused that toxicity, and I don't think Sancho should have done that. I think he did lack professionalism by doing that. You are still employed by the club. You do get your paycheck every week by Manchester United still, so it's never a good look, anyways. I mean, the next club you're gonna be at Chelsea or whoever you go next after Chelsea, they're gonna look at that. Then gonna be like, "Hey, by the way, look at this." You know, another incident where this guy sometimes can have a dig at his employer or this or that. So it is stupid, to be fair, because I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I saw too many people complaining about it. I just looked at it, I was like, okay. And I just resumed my day. I couldn't care less. Like, it didn't bother me that much. But in terms